Hello, I'm Marvin Pierce, Marvin Pierce Dog Teacher. We're sitting here tonight with Bianca, and of course we're going to talk about dogs and people. And today it's like I've been getting slammed all evening from everybody. Just looking for some pity, but I ain't getting it. And I'm probably too early to get it on here. If Carol's on here, she'll protect me. Maybe Suzanne. Kay won't. Kay will be like, "Where's the barrel training video?" So
you guys are late.
I see Kay got her. I see Kay got her found her cat, or a cat found home.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's pretty awesome.
I was worried about that one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have a subject I want to bring up, but it's going to get me in hot water. But overweight dogs. I kind of feel that and I've been through this about years and years ago. I was doing a cow dog clinic, and a person brought in this dog that was so bad. I mean, he was like just walking from the truck to the indoor arena. And I felt that it's my responsibility to look out for the best for the dog. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to work the dog on stock. And I'm like, well, I don't feel we really can, because the dog was, I don't even know, he should have weighed 50 pounds, and he probably weighed 80 or 85. And he couldn't walk 30 feet without his tongue hanging out and shit. So I told the person I didn't think it was fair to the dog, because of the fact that we'd get him killed. I mean, we were working cattle.
Right. And
you'll get that dog killed because he couldn't get out of his own way. So, you know, for me, it was a person who paid a spot in the clinic, and we had, I don't know, 8 or 10 people there with dogs. And so ended up is 10 minutes later, whatever, I was working with another dog, and then I seen this person going down the road. They left. And I felt terrible, you know, because like I said, I was looking out for the safety of a dog. And working a stock dog, you can get them hurt quick. So later on, next day or two, whatever, I got hate mail. And like I said, this is 10, 12 years ago, whatever. I got hate mail from the lady. And I just sent her a check and emailed her and told her that, hey, you know, I feel bad that you feel this way, and I'm going to give you money back. And I told her when I'd done another clinic, it didn't matter where it was, if she would like to come, she was welcome. Because it wasn't nothing personal to her.
Right. And
I feel the bad thing about dogs is that we have the opportunity to really keep our dog's weight in line, you know. And we're not the best person normally to judge the dog's weight, you know. And we get dogs in here that should weigh 45, 50 pounds. And to me, you know, that's a cup of food in the morning, a cup of food at night, depending on, you know, how energetic the dog is. But I've had dogs come in here, and they probably weighed, one dog, he weighed like 75 pounds or something. And the guy brought him in. I'm like, man, you know, I said, well, to try to get this dog in a little bit better shape, you know, the stock dog, but he didn't work him. Oh, no, man, he's fine. He said, I read the dog food bag, and it said a 70-pound dog gets as much food. And I said, correct, but your dog should weigh 50. But you're feeding him what the bag says to feed what he weighs instead of what he should weigh. Yeah. And, you know, it's always it's a hard topic to bring up with people. And, you know, we tried to start a little Weight Watchers program for dogs, and it didn't go very well because it hurts everybody's feelings, I think, if you tell them a dog's overweight. And like myself, you know, I don't want somebody picking on me every day and tell me I should skip a few cheeseburgers and eat a few more bananas. I mean, I don't like it either. I should. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But if I went to a nutritionist and I paid them money, they should tell me, hey, dude, you need to get it together now. You need to quit eating so many cheeseburgers and Cheetos and start eating banana and apple once in a while or something. And my brother, Jim, my older brother, he would tell me that. It don't even hurt his feelings. And because he done it, he got himself in shape. But I feel that when it comes to a dog, and you bring a dog here for me, and you want this from it, but I see the dog's like miserable. And we get them here. They don't even want to run around and play. Yeah. And a week later, they're starting to move around and play a little bit because they feel like it, because they've already lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
because they get to walk a lot and they get exercise and they get their food rationed.
And they're not fed treats and extra stuff all day.
And that was my next thing, is people say I only feed my dog 1 cup of the morning and noon and night instead of morning and night. But they forget to say how much of their food slipped off the dinner table and the dog ate it, and how many treats the dog got. Yeah. And it adds up, you know. And like I said, I think I hurt a person's feelings here recently. And I don't know, like I said, it's a hard topic and a hard subject for people to accept. But it's a given fact, you know. I don't know, you need to take care of these dogs. Overweight dogs aren't good. And it's not good for the dog. I'm not saying the dog ain't good, but it's not good for the dog's health. So, I'm done beating on that. What do we want to do now? We got anybody come on here, Brad?
Yeah, Jared said, Mr. Marvin helped me get my dogs to another level. Thanks for everything. Jackie said, looking forward to bring Frankie and Gregory to board and train tomorrow. They always love being here.
That's that big hound dog, that bloodhound thing. They're bringing Frankie for training?
Yeah, it sounds like tomorrow.
Huh? He's a pretty cool dog. And for me, like I said, we got to find a subject now. And I think playground playing for dogs. We've had a little bit of ornery dogs here.
Dog parks.
Yeah, well, here in our park.
Yeah.
Hell, we don't need to go to a dog park. We can go out there to our own last 2 or 3 days. And, you know, for us here, normally our dog playgrounds are like pretty cool. I mean, we got rules and dogs got to follow them. And every once in a while we bring a dog in, and this just got bad jitsu. I mean, it's just like, it's stirred up shit from the day it walks in the front of the barn. And it don't even have to get in the kennels.
Like a whole energy wave.
Yes, before it ever gets into the kennels, the dogs are like, oh man, a shit disturber is here. And we get it under control because every new dog, they don't go out with a pack until they get past the test of going through my dogs. And then we add the babies like Bianca's dog Scout and Bodie and whoever. But I've got Mariah now to where I can bring Concho in with any dog. She don't even care. She's like, take him, I don't care. But they have to pass a kind of a test to be cool to go out with a pack. But then sometimes when we take them out with a pack, it's like the dogs all meet them at the gate and want to kick their butt. We're better off if we can turn them loose in the kennels and let them migrate out, because then it's not as traumatizing as meeting a new person at the gate. Yeah. And that's I've been doing with them quite a bit here lately, and it's made a lot of difference. But right now we've got Teddy's been pretty cool now, but 2 or 3 days ago he was really bad. And then we turned out that new Milo dog, and he's just terrible. And then we've got the little black and white dog he doesn't lesson with today.
Harley?
Harley? Yeah. No, not Harley, the other black and white dog. Harvey, is that his name? He's over on C-Row in the middle on the bottom. The black and white.
Oh, Blazer.
Blazer.
Yeah.
He's just a turd from the word go, you know. And then we throw Tilly in the middle of that. And then we had poor Ellie in there. That didn't last very long. And,
poor Ellie?
Yeah. Poor baby. But she was the biggest disturber of them all.
The littlest.
Yeah, and she's only a 9-month-old miniature Jack Russell. It ain't as tall as my water glass, but she don't know that. She thinks she weighs 220 pounds of muscle. Yeah. But we just had a lot of honored dogs. And Rue. Yeah. And so we just had a lot of honored dogs. And then Concho, he does like 30 miles an hour sometimes.
He does.
So it was just chaos. We had a little dog scruffle between Tilly and Ellie. And we finally got that broke up. And so for me, whenever any of these dogs, you know, when you take them out, and especially for me, people that go to a dog park, you got to be so careful who you turn your dog loose with, because you can get in a lot of trouble. And even if you got a good dog, and you know, for me, I know there's a lot of controversy and conversations over it, but if I'm walking my dog down the street, I don't need to let my dog meet another dog. Just walking on the street, it isn't necessary. Now, if it's a neighbor, then where I live in town, if I lived in town, I'd be like, hey, if you'd like to get together, we can try to introduce the dogs and let them play together. but I'm not going to do it out in the middle of the street. To me, it just isn't worth it. And here, you know, at the training facility, we got people that bring their dogs here for board and train, and then they end up bringing a friend's dog or a kid's dog or a neighbor's dog or whoever's up, so we can introduce them in our playgrounds.
Yep.
And make sure they get along good before they go home and start letting them play.
Yep.
And to me, that's pretty fun. I invited somebody the other day to bring their dogs or neighbor's dogs or whatever. I don't know if they'll do it, but to give them an opportunity to play. Because a lot of these dogs that fence fight between neighbors, they don't want to fence fight. They want to go play and be buddies. Yeah. Not saying all of them, so don't go turn your dogs loose and cause a dog fight and call me tomorrow and tell me you're at the vet and you want me to pay the bill. And most of the stuff that we talk about on here, you do need a professional trainer to help you with. And I feel another subject is how many trainers do you use at one time? You know, I don't feel there's a lot of trainers that train exactly the same. And when you're trying to teach a dog something, it's really hard when you change it daily. You know, it'd be like trying to teach a dog to sit one day by the word sit, and tomorrow you want to teach him to sit by saying stand.
Right.
And then the third day, well, heck, I'm going to teach him to sit by saying banana.
Right.
And the fourth day, well, no, none of that works. So I'm going to go back to the word sit. And your dog's just really confused. And you know, we had a dog in here the other day, Saturday, I think, or Friday, maybe Saturday, that had a lot of trouble from a surgery. And for me, with that dog, I'm not sure if they're coming back or not. I mean,
Sunday.
Or are they coming back? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited to see that dog come back. And, you know, we're going to touch a little bit, I think, on confidence and treats. It's like keyboard warriors on a computer. You hear people talk about how mean they are on a computer, and I'm not even mean on a computer, much less off one. But people who are mean on a computer, but when you see them in the real world, they're like, no, that ain't me. And I go back to that topic because I remember as a kid down in Texas, I was 19, 20 years old, driving a truck, my brother and I. And this old boy was always on the CB, and he had a big old CB. When he spoke, everybody heard him because he would just crack everybody's CBs down if they couldn't talk. And he talked about how he is, 6'3" and 240 pounds of twisted iron and muscles. And I mean, this was one badass dude. And me and my brother, we always laughed about how we'd like to meet this guy because you can never meet him, you know. And me and my brother was cruising down the road one day, and my brother's like, see that beat up, I think it's a Pinto. And had this big badass antenna on. I said, he said, that's that guy. I'm like, no shit. And here it was, a little old man, looked like he's 80 years old, driving a beat-up-ass Pinto. And according to him, he drove a huge semi and beautiful truck. And he was, like I said, 240 pounds of twisted muscle. So I feel that sometimes people feel their dogs as that person rather than the person in a Pinto. You know, that's really not. And that's what gets these dogs in trouble. Like Teddy, when he came here, his hackles were up from tip of his tail to tip of his nose. I mean, he wanted to whip every dog on the playground. Yeah. But he didn't. Yeah. He never fought because he didn't want to fight. He just wanted everybody to think he was tough so they wouldn't try to whip him. Yeah. That make sense? And a lot of times that's what gets them in trouble. Now, on the flip side of all this is all talking about what people thinks and what the dog thinks. Right. So now this dog that's coming in, and I'll tell her Sunday too, because I think I might have figured out part of her problem with her dog. So she took the dog to the vet a couple times, had surgery on it. And second time she came in from surgery, this dog was 80 pounds probably, a pit bull cross. Yeah. And he's not mean, because he still don't bite your dog fight, but he jumps all over.
80 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, muscle. And he jumps on her, he drags her on a leash. Can't take him out for walks no more, I don't think. He counter surfs. I mean, he stole their dinner off the table, stole whatever, ate it. He's just not controllable no more. And he's 6 years old or 8 years old.
6, I think.
And they all go back to his last time he came home from the vet, he was this way. Right. So they've come to the conclusion this is not created by the vet. He's fine. He's fine. He's healthy. Everything's good for his surgery because he had a screw put in his leg or a plate or whatever. I feel after me and Bianca and the girls talk, because a lot of these dogs, if they're a real problem, and for me, they're the perfect dog for Bianca to learn on, and Mariah, and whoever's there watching,
It's nice. It's just a mess.
Yes, it's just lost. They don't know where it belongs in the world.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel, and I could be wrong, because the lady got here with the dog. He was uncontrollable. I mean, he drug her on a leash a little bit, and he wouldn't settle. We got in her training pen, and I asked her, "Does this dog ever settle?" She's like, "No." So I asked her if I could have the leash, and I put my leash on him, slip rope, and took hers off, and I got the dog like 15, 20 feet from her, and within minutes, he just sat by my leg. He's like, I took a deep breath. He was good.
Yeah.
And I think she even commented that her dog wasn't broke or something then, because I feel that that dog maybe, I'm not sure of this, but I feel maybe he got home from the vet, and he's really a treat trained dog. Mm-hmm. So I think that maybe she asked him to do something and offered him a treat, and he wasn't in the mood to eat because he'd been at a vet. So he didn't do what he was asked to do. And I kind of feel maybe it escalated from there. Mm-hmm. She lost a little bit of confidence. He gained a little bit, I don't have a leader. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And we're talking about board and train. We're not sure what we're going to do with the dog. But for me, my goal is always fixing. But in me, with the leash on him, he wasn't a nervous, crazy dog. I mean, I let him around. He didn't drag me. She let him a little bit. And last time she let him, he even done a lot better. And hopefully he's doing better at home now. But I feel that sometimes it's like the twisted steel guy that's 80 years old and drive beat up Pinto. In his mind, when he's on the radio, he's a 35-year-old muscle-bound guy driving a $100,000 truck. So who's wrong? I don't care. He's pretty happy, and we always like listening to him talk smack on the radio, you know. So the dogs, I feel we put them in the class of being scared or weak or non-trainable, instead of figuring out how to fix the dog and what's wrong with them. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we've had, I don't know how many dogs here. It's Wednesday. We've had several dogs in here for lessons this week. A lot of dogs last week. Saturday's usually crazy around here. Dogs coming and going everywhere for lessons and stuff. But I feel that people expect perfection from a dog that ain't trained. Mm-hmm. They expect perfection from a dog, but they're not a perfectionist trainer. Mm-hmm. One day they're like, we can have this, tomorrow we can't have this. So it makes it really bad for a dog. And I think it's very unfair to a dog for us to expect them to understand us when we're not talking their language.
Completely.
And we have that constantly around here. People tell their dog, now I want you to sit down, Fluffy, and behave. And the dog's like, what the hell did Mom just say? Or Dad. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know. I think they wanted you to eat a cheeseburger. Yeah. So for me, and I mean, two of my mottos is normally I'll teach a dog more in minutes than the person will in hours. And I'll teach them more by not talking than the person will be talking. Yeah. Because it's just a matter of them understanding us. And for me, the little black dog was up here a while ago. He's pretty cool. Cody, yeah. But the guy is just like lost.
Yeah, the beginning of that lesson, the dog was starting to settle down, and then someone was walking into the round pen, and the dog started to lose mind. And the dog was going to be okay, but then the guy started speaking to it and touching it and trying to coddle it. It's okay, petting it while it was starting to get nervous. And that dog turned into a bucking bronco. As soon as he started talking, he was going to be okay. And as soon as he started saying a bunch of stuff he didn't understand.
And it's weakness.
Yeah.
It's pleading.
Yeah.
If you bag a dog, do something. It's like me. It just makes me nervous when a person gets down in a dog's face that don't understand them. Mm-hmm. And puts their nose right there in front of their mouth. It's okay, Fluffy. You can behave. It's good. It ain't good. One of these days they're going to go get a nose replaced or something. We had a dog in there last year or year before. 2 dogs, I think, they got bit people's lips. Because they were trying to kiss on Fluffy and tell him how cute he was, and he bit him on the lip. And it's like, to me, I don't know. I feel if you get bit on the lips, the nose, and the face, they were probably somewhere they didn't belong. And I know people, oh, my dog kissed me forever, and I've never had an issue. And he can kiss me forever. I don't care. Just make sure that you don't kiss me afterwards. And I'd worry about what he's been eating. I know dogs around here that eats dog turds, cow turds, horse turds, dead animals. So I think sometimes it's, to me, it's just, you plead with a dog to be good, they're not going to be. Can't do it.
Yeah.
If you teach them that you're a leader and they need to respect you, then they'll do it. So, you got anything to add, Bianca?
I agree with it.
My big notes I have over here, which I always have, says talk about overweight dogs. We're going to touch on a subject, and if this person's on Facebook, I mean, I'd like to work with them and their dog a little bit, but someone has a 2-year-old cow dog, and I guess he just woke up one morning bad. And I don't know if they work him or not. They've been messaging back and forth on Facebook a little bit with me. They put out there they was having a problem. They live here in Oregon, and a couple people, I think, told them they should get hold of me to try to help fix the dog, because he woke up one day kind of mean. He's a little growly. He tries to bite him. They can't get him going a crate. I don't know. Me, I like to work with dogs like that just because of the fact that we can see what triggered it. Mm-hmm. I can learn something and help the dog. But for me, we've seen dogs come here all the time that won't go in a crate. They're like, we just had one the other day. I don't remember what dog it was, but they could not get it in a crate no more. And I think it was you worked with that dog, and within 5 minutes, you got it going in and out of a crate. Yeah. And staying in a crate.
Yeah.
So, was that little puppy, that little live puppy?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
12 weeks old or whatever. So, normally if a dog's traumatized, like Sadie, you notice I moved her over on A-roll.
Yes.
The white lab.
Yes.
Because I figured out why she's so crazy nervous on B-roll. It's because that slick concrete, when she goes around the corner, she always slides. So if you'll see her toes, her nails are out.
And it was the floor. She acted like she was walking on ice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. She's scared to death. Over on A-roll now, she's fine.
Yeah.
So, and she actually went over on B-roll this morning with me, just on her own. But she wasn't even traumatized. She's like, okay, I'm good. So for me, that's what scared her. But it always goes back to if we accept that, or if we scream and holler and drag and fight with her.
Right.
It just escalates and makes it worse. So for me, when you get to that point with a dog, I always go back to you need to just train on them. Yep. Use it for a training tool.
Yep.
And opportunity. Ready for a nap, talking about you not getting no sleep because of your puppy. I got a lot of sleep last night. I got that new sleep number bed. And,
it's hitting me now.
Huh?
It's hitting me now.
You should be asking Carrie to come on up and help you. She's good with that little Roxy dog and Lucky dog or whoever that is.
Lucky. Oh, Tucker.
Tucker, yeah. She does good with those little fluffy dogs now. She picked Roxy up and put her in her kennel last night, and Roxy wouldn't even let her sit. She's like, "Arr." And they put her in a big old kennel, so she's all the way in the back, and you can't reach her. Carrie started crawling in there, and Roxy's like, "Arr." And what's she weigh, 6 pounds?
Maybe.
Yeah, and 3 of us teeth.
Yeah.
So Carrie, she's like, Marvin, I think you need to get this dog out of here. I'm like, okay. So I just tossed her rope in there and roped her, and she came right out. And I think Carrie took her out the round pen, and then Carrie brought her back and picked her up somehow and put her in another kennel. Didn't get bit.
She's usually pretty good once she's out of the kennel and she's been here for a day. Then she's up.
Yeah, she needs a little time to learn that she's not going to get by with being bad.
Yeah.
And she was a bad little puppy, a 10-year-old dog, not a puppy. And she came here, she was scared of the world. Nobody could pet her, nobody could touch her. She couldn't be around dogs. And now she's pretty cool. She comes here and boards here once in a while. So I think that we're going to talk a little bit about vitamins. I don't know a lot about them. I was just told I need to feed my dog new vet vitamins, and I do. And we sell a lot of them now, so we've become a dealer for them. And, you know, a lot of people talk good about them, how their dog's coat slick up and they seem to be better and yada, I don't know. But we do the vets, the new vet, and we've really been happy with it. Mm-hmm. We've had people use the new vet for joints. That's really, and you use them now.
I'm using both now, yeah.
And everybody really likes them and are happy with them, you know. So we are a dealer for them if you need any of the new vet stuff. And then Cycle Dog leashes. We're a dealer for them. We actually have our custom leashes, which neither one of us have one on us, which normally we don't never leave the barn without one, but we don't have the leashes on us, but we become a dealer for them.
Quit yawning.
And then we got a really cool water bowl for dogs now. It's collapsible. It's made out of recycled tubes and stuff. You can fold it up and put this little band over it, and you can put fit it in my shirt pocket if I want to carry it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty neat for taking out and carrying water your dogs. Yeah, easy to wash. It's not a hard plastic you got to put up. Then we got wormer and flea medicine that we have now that we're a dealer for them out of, I think, Georgia. I haven't talked to him for a good while because we bought so many vitamins, or so many of the wormer and flea stuff, but we hadn't talked to him for a good while. Then we got my wife. She's got Pierce Family Ranch. She sells beef and pork and turkeys, and I think she's out of turkeys now, but she got like 30 out there in the field. She raises a batch every summer, and she sells, like I said, beef and pork. So if you need any of that, you can look her up online. And then what else we got?
Slip leashes.
We do. We have slip leashes. The ones we have now, I've had one for several years. I bought down in Texas, and I can't find this exact leash, but I got close to it now.
I like the one that I have now, the new one that you found.
They're nice, but I don't think they're nice as mine.
It's not, but that's...
But they're nicest one we found,
yeah.
And we've used a lot of different ones. I mean, Bianca or Mariah, Jocelyn came through with some 9-colored leash a while ago.
I saw it.
I'm like, where the hell did you get that? She's like, hanging up in there. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know we owned that. So, but we buy them. Carrie gets leashes for us. I do, you know. And we just hang them up there. We got all kinds of leashes. But our favorite leashes, of course, now we have a box up there with 8 or 10 or 12 in there for sale. So if anybody needs one. And for me, they're super, super nice leashes. You can just slip them on your dog and go for a walk or whatever. And you don't have to for me, I don't have to put a command collar on them. I don't have to put the other leash on them.
I like it for when I'm just taking my dog potty. I just need to run it out and bring it back in. The
biggest thing is with them is like Zara, is that her name, that big pink dog? Mm-hmm. I was leading her the other day with mine, and I'm like, oh, I don't got a dog. Because I think her shoulders and her neck is bigger than her head. And my leash just came off of her. I've only had that happen like twice, and it's pretty funny though. But we were in a controlled environment, so everything was good. But we do really like those leashes. I mean, the slip leashes are nice for just taking your dog out, like Bianca said, go to the bathroom, and we move them kennel to kennel. We put them in the outdoor pens, in the round pen or in the lanes or whatever, to go potty and run around or something. But we use them a lot rather than putting a pinch collar and a leash on them.
And we'll use it to settle a dog down if they're being crazy out on the playground. We'll just throw that on them.
Yes. Or when we get new dogs like that big dog, I put those on them. Yeah. Just in case they get too bad, I can take a little bit of air out of them, maybe settle them down. And one of these days we're going to make a video because I have my theory about slip leashes, how they should work properly and improperly. Mm-hmm. And we'll show them. And now we have some choke chains. I got those big link chains in yesterday. They're laying up there on the feed box rack. So for me, I think sometimes you need to use different things for your dogs.
Yeah.
And me and Jody went in town last night after watching granddaughter's volleyball game, and we was there at a stop, and I seen this man and lady and her dog walking down the street, and she's like, "Hey Marvin, how are you?" And I'm like, "Good." And she's like, "This is so and so," and her dog. And she's like, "Yeah, we came up here a couple of years ago and you worked with her." And she says, "You're doing great." And yeah. But she had a gentle lead on with that little nose thing, you know. And her dog was walking perfect. She's like, "Yeah, I just put this on because I don't have to worry about him." So for me, it's whatever works for you, you know, in your environment or your time frame. My big concern is I tell people all the time that they come here and they don't want to be a dog trainer. And sometimes it's hard to fix your problem dog, and sometimes it's hard to train a dog. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't have the time and the patience to train on them, it's hard. Yep. So I feel that's why our board and train program is so good for dogs, because the fact they stay here, they're away from mom and dad and their brothers and nieces and uncles and stuff, and they get treated like a dog. They go out with a pack. They always have to behave. And it's the same thing with day boarding dogs. You know, we got people bring their day board dogs here once a week or something. And several of them now. Mm-hmm. And they love it because their dog goes home and they sleep. They're tired. They've been out. And they haven't been out playing all day in this little pack of dogs. They've been in the kennels part of the day. They've been out with 10 or 20 dogs on the playground, but they have to behave. They can't just be crazy. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things. And we don't have a puppy, what do you call that?
Puppy
play? Wherever you take your dogs to play all day.
Oh, day camp?
Daycare.
Yeah.
We don't really have that per se, but we do take in only dogs we've trained or worked with or been board and trained or whatever. But we bring them in. I'm going to go down my list. Brett, you got any questions?
Yeah, you've got some comments on here. Melanie said, Ralphie updated. He walks like a dream dog. Thank you. The color is amazing and your advice was spot on.
Ralphie?
And Melanie Hillman was the person.
That sounds so familiar.
We've been through a lot of dogs, so thank you for nice comments. You got any more comment, Brett?
Carol said,
oh, no.
I need knuckle bones when I come out on Friday. You
treats.
Yeah. Anyways, Melanie says big white dog.
Oh, that's the lady with the rock and roll jacket.
Oh, cool.
She sent us her neighbor.
Really?
That's the one.
Their dog or the neighbor?
The neighbor and the dog.
Oh.
The mini husky that was here the other day.
So you meant just the neighbor. I was like, wait a minute now. We're not done training on humans by themselves. We'll do it with the dog. But thank you. Yeah, we haven't seen her. I thought she was going to rock and roll on back over here.
Sounds like she's rocking and rolling with her dog.
Yeah.
Carrie says she'll come up. That's what she said. And then Carrie also asked, how do you start a puppy out right?
Carrie, our Carrie?
Yeah.
I'm going to reach through this mic, Carrie. Now I need you to come and help Bianca let dogs out. You know, it's tough with puppies. I mean...
Get help. Go to a trainer. That's how. That girl with Lincoln, she's been coming here since the puppy was 9 weeks old. And she's doing so good all day. Doing so good already. I'm tired. But she came up, she asked a bunch of questions, and she's fixing what she's doing wrong. She has no idea what she's doing. She hasn't had a dog. But she's seen a trainer.
And I feel that's a lot of it with puppies, you know. People...
Don't wait till it's 6 months old.
People like Bianca has a puppy. It's 8 weeks old. And she's had it for 30 hours. You've had no sleep. Mm-hmm. And you're like at your wit's end.
Yeah, I can't even speak English.
So, it's hard.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
You know, with Roxy, remember I got her, did you ever take her home when she was a little puppy, or you waited?
No, I waited till
Carrie took her home, I think, for a few hours, and I don't even know that she kept her all night. I think she might have called me and dropped her off in the middle of the night. But it's hard. And what's fair, what's not, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's 10 million different philosophies on puppy training. I go back to Roxy, was raised in my dog Kennels, and she's pretty cool. Didn't traumatize her, and I've raised hundreds of pups up there in my kennels, cow dog pups, and never had issues with them. Never know any that was traumatized in life and went for a safe room. They all turned out to be cool dogs. Cool enough dogs. If they were worth shit, if they weren't, they were just cool pets. But I don't think any of them was traumatized, and that's what I told you about your dog tonight, your puppy. Just leave it here and get some sleep. It'll be all right.
Yep.
It's me, like I said, I'd try to find a stereo and turn on up here so there's music so the other dogs might get some sleep. Or it'll be hard on you in the morning. On me, I guess.
Yeah,
it'll be hard on me because I get open in the morning. So Bianca's going to be here at 7 to help me with her puppy. That's part of owning a pup. So I just feel that it's with puppy training, you know, the crate train and the potty train, I don't know. I'm not very good at that stuff because I never really potty trained dogs.
I feel like we had a solid day of puppy training, but one thing I was thinking, if anybody asked me, like Quinn asked me, I haven't wrote her back yet, because everyone wants to know like a secret answer to how you puppy train. I took that puppy out. You helped me. Probably every 45 minutes.
She's talking to Brett, not Marvin.
Yeah.
More than that, it was probably 20
Yeah,
or 30.
maybe every 30 minutes. And it would cry a little. We'd take it outside. It'd go potty. We'd tell it good. We'd bring it back in. Puppies have to potty a lot. And I feel like if you want to win, you have to not be lazy and go take a potty. And I have to go down 2 flights of stairs. She learned how to walk upstairs yesterday.
But I think with puppy training is, I feel the key to it is treat it like a puppy.
Yes.
Now, potty training, like I said, I'm not very good at that because I never really potty trained my dogs. They were in kennels. And at the time, I had my kennels set up so they had an indoor kennel room. They slept. Then they went outside, and that's where they'd go to the bathroom and drink. Their food was inside in their main sleeping area. And they went through a hole in the wall, and they went outside. And that's where they went to the bathroom and stuff. And I let my dogs out all the time, too. The majority of my dogs wouldn't go to the bathroom in their kennels at all. They waited till they went outside. So, kind of depends on the dog. And even our dogs in our kennels now are board and trained dogs. Some of them go to the bathroom in the kennels. Mm-hmm. And some of them don't. So, I think with the puppy training is if you treat it like a puppy, you get exercise. Because you notice your pup don't need a lot of exercise.
No, I go up and down the stairs twice, and then she takes another nap.
Yeah. So, for me, you can't go jogging with these little 8, 10, 12, 14-week-old puppies. You let them play a little while and they sleep a little while. They want to run for 2 minutes and they want to walk for a minute. So for me, it's just a matter of letting them get some exercise. I don't recommend playing tug with them.
No.
I think that's a bad habit. For me, I teach my little puppy that no means you can't do that and good means you're right. Mm-hmm. And start life from there with them. Brad, we got more questions?
Not right now, Marvin.
Man, I don't know where everybody's at with the questions.
You got 15 people on here. I'm just not asking questions.
All right, 15 people. Somebody throw out a question. For me, I want to... Let's talk about hauling dogs in vehicles. I've always been the world's best when it comes to hauling dogs in vehicles. If they're in the back of my truck, they're either chained on or they're on in a dog box that's secured in my truck, not rolling around. I feel you see more and more people with their dogs in their cars with that little seat thing in the back seat that goes down and across the seat and it hangs up off everything so they don't get the seat dirty. But the dogs are not secured in there normally. Mm-hmm. For me, if I was going to haul a dog in my vehicle all the time, which I don't, I would probably have it secured with a harness and one of those snap things that you can put in a seat belt so they can't get to their front seat whether they want to or not. It bothers me if you're going down the road and you do get in a wreck, you're going to throw your dog up in the front seat. If you go down the road and you get in a wreck, or you go down the road and somebody's gun goes off, your dog might be in your front seat. So for me, it's really hard to justify leaving them loose.
And I've always had my dogs loose in the car and never thought it to be a problem until I asked you why you do harness them in.
I'm not much on harnessing my dogs for leading or training, but in a situation like this, I would harness my dogs to keep them secure in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Because to me, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, my dog's in the vehicle, whenever I ride my dogs in the vehicle, which is not very often, I'm like, lay down, and they lay their ass down on the floorboard until we get where we're going.
Yeah.
They don't get in the seat. Now, if I have them in the back seat for whatever reason, they find their spot, and that's where they stay. They can't run around in the back seat. For me, I just think that's part of training. And it's like us, we're still, believe it or not, Kay, if you're on here, trying to make a barrel training video. And now we had a barrel training video, and I rejected it again. And it's totally my fault, not Brett's or Bianca's. Just because I don't think it's what I want. And I don't know, I've been for a while now, I'm thinking that I'm going to finish this video. And then once we get it done, we're going to have like 4 people view it that we know. and see if they think that's what we need. If it is, we'll launch it out and sell it. If they don't, we'll go back to the drawing board. It's a lot to any training video. And I mean, to me, I always pat the people on the back that makes training videos. Gary Erickson probably more than anybody because he's got a 5-hour training video. One video, 5 hours. It's like, holy crap. And I've watched I'm worse than Bailey or Cody about it. I've watched every inch of that video numerous times. And all of his videos, and these are cow dog people, so don't go buy one for Fluffy because you're probably not gonna train that way. For me today, we had a guy that was here for a lesson, and he's like, well, how do I train? This YouTube video says, don't never be mean to your dog. And this video says, don't ever raise your voice to this dog. And this video says, knock crap out of your dog, and yada, on and on and on and on. But, you know, I feel sometimes, whether it's a video or a trainer, sometimes you get what you pay for. If you go find a really cheap trainer, you'll get a cheap training. If you find a really cheap video, you'll get a cheap video. Unless you found a new trainer, a really good trainer, that's got a lot of good information, is trying to get started, and he's selling his videos cheap because he needs to sell videos. Nobody wants to buy his video because they don't know him. And I've got video. I got a video in there on the wall from a horse trainer, and I don't think I ever opened it. She gave it to me. She was super excited, and so I took it, and like I said, I don't think I ever opened it. So I wasn't in the horse training at the time. I was doing dog stuff, but she wanted me to have her video, and I think I don't know, maybe she just wanted to say dog trainer got her video. So I mean, I was excited about getting it at the time, but I just don't think I've ever opened it to watch. And for me, it's hard for people to understand. You can beat yourself before you ever start something. Mm-hmm. Being dog training or climbing a tree or jumping a rope or whatever, if you don't have no self-esteem, no confidence in yourself, no confidence in your ability, no confidence in what you're working with, it's hard to win. And I think you sent me a text last night about I always feel I'm going to win or something. Yeah,
well, you're not afraid of failing. You just are focused on winning.
Yeah, and I can't be.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to fail, and I don't always do everything right. But if I do something wrong, it don't work, I'll do it again. I'll do it a different way.
Yeah.
Or I'll go ask somebody.
And you're not afraid of doing it wrong.
No, not ever.
Something else wrong. Yeah. Ever. You don't even think about it.
No, and I can't. I don't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's for me is the same as people that's always worried about everybody out to get them.
Yeah.
You know, one of my big philosophies, sayings or whatever you want to call it is, somebody gives you something, you might not want it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay. Yeah. And it's not true. I mean, people have gave me things over the years, and they never sent me a bill for them in no other way, you know. But I go back to Dave, a guy I used to work with at the mill years ago. He was moving one time. I said, hey, you need some help? He's like, nope, I'm hiring a moving crew. I'm like, really? He's like, yep, if I get 20 buddies to help me move, then I got to help 20 buddies move. Hey, that's a good point. You're better off to work a day or two on days off and make money and pay a mover.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's that way, you know. But for me, I've helped, I don't know, probably hundreds of people over the years, never charged nobody for training dogs, helping with dogs. And on a vacation, I mean, I'll help somebody, like I said before, in Walmart parking lot. I don't care, or Wilco. I seen a guy today at the golf course, his dog was dragging him around. And then his dog grabbed his leash in his mouth and was dragging him with his own leash. And so it's like, it was really hard not to stop and help him, but I had a load of cattle in the trailer and Jody was with me, so I figured I better keep on going, keep myself out of trouble. But for me, it is fun to help people and make better dogs, and that's why you too now love what we do, because we get to get up in the mornings and go to work and have fun all day. And we got a great team, you know, like we always say, Mariah and Jocelyn and Carrie, you and I guess we're it.
Yeah.
Brett does the photography and the video, but in the dog kennels, it's us four who are there day in and day out. And we got up 5 or 6 to 8 volunteers now, which is great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a lot of fun because even Nancy's up today. She took dogs out by herself and trained on them, you know, and then she came in and watched that lesson with us.
She did. Yep.
And it's really fun for me to have people like her and Kay and Nancy and Linda and Suzanne and
Lana
Chris
and
and Lana, and now we got the other lady on Marley going to start coming on weekends, and it'd be nice if we get another weekend person or two. But for me, it is fun to see the team we have and the compliments we get from clients. And
and Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn. I forgot about her because she never hardly here and get on my nerves. But Quinn, she does a great job now, and it's just fun to see the difference. And Quinn wants to be a trainer, and she wants to open a training facility in California one day. And I feel she can do it because she's got the want, and that's what you got to have. You can make everything else, but if you don't want to do something, or I feel if you got into the dog business just to make money, you probably could find a better way. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in anything you do nowadays, but I feel to be a successful dog trainer, I feel you've got to want to do it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I do. I love training dogs. I mean, as you know, I go up around my days off all the time and train on dogs and work dogs and aggravate y'all and see what you're doing. And now it's really hard on me because I've been going up earlier in the morning. I almost went up 6:30 this morning and I made myself wait. So I went back in the living room and sat down, read on a book for a little while. But it is, and this morning the reason I want to go to the kennel so early was just so I could hurry up and get some of the stuff done so Mariah could work dogs with me a little bit because she's been pretty busy in the kennel. So now she's working dogs with us a little bit more. Done a lesson for us today. So, Brett,
You have another question?
You have two questions. One's from Mariah. It says, can you explain how to safely correct resource guarding?
You know, that's a loaded question. Carrie. Yep.
And Dobie hanging out the window.
Resource guarding to me, and there's so many ways to do it, Mariah. And I've seen video after video after video. And you know, I don't think you were here. I think it was before you came here. And not ever knock out no trainers, but this guy came here with this little bitty ass dog, Dust Mop, and it was just mean as shit with food. You couldn't get close to that puppy with food. And it was not very old, but it was mean. I mean, that guy had bloody hands.
Wow.
And he's like, you know, I watched video after video, and yeah, I done this, and I done that. And he said, one trainer told me to put my food in my hand and offer it to my puppy. And I'm like, how did that go? And he's like, look. It didn't go very good. That puppy ate the shit out of him. And so for me, Mariah, I feel that majority of the time people make a mistake by a dog doesn't know right, wrong, and I'm going to get consequences if I'm wrong. Me, I go back to the leash, I go back to the pinch collar, and I teach my dog that you're going to get touched with a pinch collar and you're not going to like it. Not going to hurt you. Because I'm probably going to pet you when I get done and you sit down and behave. So you don't got to fear me, my growler, or my pinch collar. What you have to understand is that is wrong. So that's where I start. And then I'll go to, if it's food, a toy, whatever it might be. I start there. And as you see me doing round pen, I'll drop treats in front of a dog and they won't touch them. Food aggressive dogs. Because if I drop it, and they're like, I don't want the damn treat anyway. So that, to me, you man, Carrie, have a seat. That's where you start with it, is the fact that so many times we let dogs guard their dog food, and people thinks it's funny when a little Fluffy growls at them. And they go to move them and they grab them by the toe, by the boot, the shoe, whatever. And you've been grabbed by the boot here a few times over food and dogs not going in kennels. And so for me, if you start there, and for me, I'll swat a dog with a leash a little bit if they're getting real growly at something. And I'll growl at them at the same time and I'll swat them a little bit. And I know. And for me, normally now, if you notice an A-roll especially, I've been making dogs get on the bed before I'll feed them. And they had to get on the bed. And that's one of the reasons I go to the kennels early some mornings. Before everybody gets there, I can go in there and I can make every dog get on his bed on A-roll and sit, and I'll put his food in there and he can't get it till I tell him. And then some of the dogs, depending on how much time I got or what I got going on, I'll make them stop eating and get back on the bed and wait again. And to me, that's where it starts, because a dog can have nothing unless we approve it.
Right.
And if you get that way with them, that'll stop it. So, Brett, you say you had another question?
Yep. Yvonne said, do you recommend when having 2 dogs to have 2 separate kennels at home or have them be together?
Separate.
Either or, you know. I mean, me, I've had dogs that I would kennel together in cold weather if they didn't have heat in the wintertime. But it always depends on the dogs.
Harley and Aspen.
Oh, no, I'd probably not, because those two are glued at the hip anyway.
Yeah.
And I would try to keep a barrier between those dogs. I mean, if it was me and you can do it or whatever, I'd have one dog up here some days for a puppy play day thing. And the other dog at home, I'd try to get them dogs unglued. Because here, either one of them dogs will go out and play if they're not together.
They're getting better. They
are. They're a lot better, but it's because we take them out. I make sure when I take them out, they don't go together. They go in separate pens or at separate times so I can get them apart. That's what gets them in trouble. Because the first when they come here, it's like freaking 2 pieces of bread stuck together with jelly. Yeah. They couldn't imagine separating.
Yeah. And they thought they had to guard their own little pack.
Yeah. And now they will get away from one another.
Yeah, they do.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun for me to see that they can get away from one another.
And it's because you separated them.
Yes, that's it. I mean, they got to be. It's the same way with separating humans. Yeah. I done a lesson recently, and I mean, the dog stood there and stared, and the guy stood there and stared, and they both drooled, and
they were
like, hello, you're in class, we're trying to teach. And it's just because people can't imagine nothing to you, Carrie.
She laughed before you said it.
We're talking about you this time. But it's fun for me to see how much somebody cares about their pet.
Yeah.
Be you, me. I mean, I love my dogs to death. But I feel that you can blame it on COVID, which a lot of people do. Now they got to blame it on, I'm going to go back to work and my dog's traumatized because daddy's leaving him. He ain't going to be here to rub his ears every 30 minutes or 15, depending on how bad it is. So there's nothing wrong with loving your dog and spoiling your dog and letting your dog sleep on your bed. And somebody the other day, like, well, it's so bad with my dogs, they don't just sleep on the bed, but they got to get under the covers. Like, damn. I don't even let my dog sleep in the house. I thought about getting a house dog. Carrie's over rolling her eyes again. Telling all the Carrie's secrets, I didn't even know it. But for me, it is. And people come in the kennels and they try to give me a big old spiel about their dog. And I'm like, you think he's spoiled? Has he been with you like 24/7 since he's 8 weeks old? And the only reason that would be different is if they whelp the puppies in their house. Then they'd be with them 24/7 since birth. Yeah. And they can't figure out why their dog's so traumatized whenever they leave them. And a lot of times that's what it is. And me, I couldn't imagine. For me, I couldn't imagine having a dog in my house that would try to guard my house, And I don't mean my dog, I mean your dog. If your dog stayed in my house, he ain't going to guard my house. If your dog stays, he ain't guarding my house. I'll do that, They just need to go chill somewhere. And it's hard on them. And, I read Cesar Millan's books. I'm reading one of them now. I've watched probably every video he's got out except one here this new season. I haven't watched all of them. But for me, it's amazing to watch dog trainers and the way they work with different types of dogs and different types of people. You can't treat all people the same, and you damn sure can't treat all dogs the same. Yeah. And that's what gets dogs and humans in trouble. Is we have an expectation, and then we can't meet it in the time frame we want, and you're really guilty of that. We lose it. Yeah. We're like, I failed. Yeah. No, you didn't fail. You're training a dang dog. Yeah. There's no blueprint, There's no training videos that's going to make your dog perfect. If you're going to have the perfect type of dog, it's like I tell you all the time, I didn't do that for you. I've taught you how, right. And I'll coach you. Yeah. But you do it, not me. Yeah. And you get the credit, good or bad. And that's the only way you can do it. Yeah. And I help you a lot. I mean, that's what I'm here for, is to try to help you. And like today, you helped me because you done a lesson for me, I think, because I had to bail and go haul cows, and I even got Mariah to do a lesson for me.
And you helped me with Pearl.
Yes. Yep. So for me, that's what this is about. If you don't want to help me and I don't want to help you, then we're not together in what we do. Yeah. I'll come help you anytime with a lesson. Same thing with you and me.
Yeah.
And we have fun at it. And we pick on one another. I mean, me, if we can't pick on one another, then I don't think we're having much fun.
Yeah.
Other than tonight, you, Brett, Jody, everybody's picking on me. I figured that's why you text Carrie for to come up here and get on me too. So, for me though, yeah, it is fun to see you grow in your training skills and your confidence and your expectations of what you can do with a dog now.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just patience
Yeah.
is your biggest enemy.
Yep.
Because you want to be me in a couple months
Yep.
or years.
Yep.
And you might be. You might surpass me in a couple years. I don't know. You're doing great now. But I feel that my advantage over you is I had tough cow dogs to train to start. And I could not settle for a non-mannered behavioral dog because they were going to run my cattle through the fences and they'd be gone, or they were going to kill a calf. So, and it was tough. It was really hard on me. I remember a time I'd have 8-10 dogs chained to the fences out there working dogs, dog after dog after dog all day long. People thought I was crazy, but that's how I got where I am, by doing that. And like I said, working with a lot of different dogs and teaching people. I've always liked to teach people what little bit I know about anything. But I feel with the dog training, just like Jared and then when I went down Mississippi and done that clinic for Jared Lee, it was huge for me because of the fact that we had people there from 3 or 4 or 5, 6 different states that come to learn, and they was all there to learn. They weren't there to bitch, whine, or complain about the weather or anything else. They wanted to learn. And they had, I think, 2 or 3 days, whatever the clinic was, to do it. So it's a lot of difference for me always training with the cow dog world versus the city world because of the expectations. And a lot of the cowboys, not all of them, but the majority of them, their dog is their work hand, not their fluffy dog. Brett, got any questions? Carrie, do you got anything you want to add? You're sitting over there just like grinning like this.
I do want you to cover on the next one how to work out of the COVID. Meaning, you know, like for me, for example, I have been with Dobie since day one because I've worked from home.
But I don't think you've traumatized Dobie because he's been here so much.
Absolutely, but not everybody has that leisure. So how can people work out of that? I don't know that you could cover that in 2 or 3 minutes, but maybe that can be for the next.
It'll be a good subject for the next one, that good topic for the next one. But I think one of the things is for people, you got to quit settling for, I just can't do it. You know, you got to, I told that person today, damn excuses are getting old. You got to get rid of them. Me, I was always told my whole life, if you want something done, get a busy person. If you call somebody who ain't busy, probably because they don't want to do nothing. So they're probably not going to help you. But I guarantee you, I got buddies that are as busy as I am, and I call them and they'll make a way to help me out. Because we don't settle for less. And your dog's the same way. People think they broke their dog over COVID. I think we broke the people when it comes to it. Because the people feel defeated because they done this to their dog. Their dog don't even care. You know, for me, I've bought and sold cow dogs over the years so many times. And I can take a dog like, well, you guys' dogs would be easy, but I could take a dog like Dobie. In 2 minutes, he won't come to you probably if you call him. He'll stay right by my leg, even though he dies to go to mommy. But at the same time, you know, they say a dog doesn't take very long to change owners. And the majority of the time, they won't take very long to change owners. But the thing that happens to some dogs is if you try to get them ownership changed, the owner who receives the dog is really weak and won't be a leader, so the dog will be insecure. I sold a dog one time, and I never seen that dog but once a year, sometimes maybe longer. And I go to those people's house. When I left, we had to get their dog out of the back of my truck. He was my buddy. He was going home with me. And it hurt me every time I left because we had to get him out, and he just wanted to go home with me. And Why? I don't know. I mean, I didn't raise the dog from a puppy. I bought him. Me and Jody got him out of Colorado. He's like a year old. But he was my buddy till he died. So dogs do get attached to humans, but still yet, they're not like children. They will change ownership. And I feel with the COVID thing, a lot of times, like I said, it's really hard for people. Even here, you know, I told Mariah today, make sure that lady don't take that dog when she leaves.
She said,
yeah.
I guess Marvin said I can't take him home yet.
Because her dog's here for boarding training. He's only, 6 months old. And just spoiled rotten and chews her up. Yeah. And that little fluffy thing, that's my...
Tucker.
But if she would took the dog home, he would go right back to where he was.
Yeah.
And here, he ain't bit nobody. He ain't challenged nobody. She's going to bring a slicker in because he don't like get wet. And we're going to put it on him because he's going to eat us, I guess. So we might have to make a video of it. And he probably will because he's a honor little turd. But I feel that for me, a lot of the training with a dog goes back to the fact that if we go through our process the way we go with training, by the time I go to put a slicker on, he's going to be like, okay. Or he's going to be like, and I'm going to be like, ah. And he's like, I'm good. Go ahead and put a slicker on.
I agree.
Where if we just tried to put a slicker on when he got here, we'd have a dog fight.
Yeah.
So, Brett, you got any questions?
No, that's it, Mark.
All right, well, we're going to bail. We've been on here an hour. And everybody remember, go to Marvin Pierce Dog Teachers Facebook.
Our second podcast is out
YouTube,
on Spotify.
Instagram, and we got 2 podcast things out. They're about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, and Brett said another one's coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
This will be up next week. For me, I want to try to make them fun. You know, I usually throw a story about my life in here, and I didn't this week, so you'll have to wait till the next one to do it, to hear one. But remember, if you got questions, you know, you can shoot us an email or Facebook message, and if you got a topic you want us to touch on, like next week we'll try to talk about dogs with COVID dogs. But we'll talk about your subjects. We'll bring them up and try to go through them. And we want to invite people over, but we haven't really tried. And we're going to do it. So if any of you like get on here and talk dogs with us, you know, you're welcome to get a hold of us and come over and sit around the what do you call octagon? Not octagon, but the table's longer than it is wide.
The rectangle.
Yeah,
table.
Rectangle. There you go. I was going to say the round table. We don't have one. But you're welcome. We'll get a hold of you, or you get a hold of us if you'd like, and we'll try to get you over. So everybody, thanks a lot, and have a great night.